Hello, hello. We are back for some PLO action. Playing some more on coinpoker. Right away getting into this spot, we have ace, ace, three, deuce. Out of position, we raise. We get called by the bun player. I think this is a reasonable check call. Here we open ace, queen, 5, 3, and flop quite well with top two pair. So we're just gonna go ahead and bet 3/4. Here on the turn, once again, we have no jack, no nine, so we're just gonna proceed with the check call. He raises here, which is quite interesting for a large size and goes full pot as well. It's very interesting. Interesting. We don't have a high heart. He can have a lot of combo draws here. Let's see his aggression stats. I think we're going to proceed with a call here. And then here we're going to check. We can also bluff this hand. I think we have to be a little bit careful. Bluffing in this spot. I think we are going to go for a very small bet of 10% pot. Here. I think the idea behind a 10% pot size bet is I'm trying to put him in an uncomfortable spot right away with some of his misdraws. Now he leads for this weird sizing, which is strange. I kind of think he has a full house, and I think he might have eights. He could still have some bad aces, I guess. But I think there's just too much value, and I'm gonna go all in. Still beat a hand like Queen 8, Jack 10 that he can have. He folds the river. I'm just so confusing what he could have had there. But the lead, the donk lead on the river just kind of, I don't know, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Since I'm kind of repping a polar range by bending the turn there. But yeah, we win a big one there, which is nice. Here on the side, we're just waiting for some tables. Pretty easy to defend. A lot of connectivity. And this is a hand that I'm going to start incorporating into a check raise here. We have the 3 blocker, and we're wrapping around. We have, well, a bunch of just like pretty strong blockers here to have. And he's going to be betting quite wide here for even the half pot sizing. So yeah, I think I basically have 4 blockers here and a diamond, so I like to raise here. I wrap around the 7-2. Here on this turn card, after a bet and a call, I think this hand can probably go either way to some extent. Like some of my bluffs are going to be flush draws and stuff, but I think the king is an especially bad one. I'm going to go ahead and give up the turn here. He's going to have some king king X type hands that are calling the flop raise, and some flush draws and overpairs and flush draws and stuff. So I think this is. I would continue on some diamonds, but not on the king of diamonds in specific. So yeah, I'm just gonna give up. I think it's I already condensed his range a lot after he called the flop check raise, so I'm just going to give that one up. Alright, play some music. Here, pretty easy fold. I think I would have called if it just went raise and it folded to me. I think these are fine kings to just flat here in the small blind. I don't think I can flat all of my kings here. I think I have to be a little bit selective depending on who opens. Here, short stack player calls. His range is pretty wide here. I'm still just gonna go for a flat here. I think it's a little bit tempting to squeeze with this short stack player here, but I don't think it's necessary. I think if I was like slightly better connected, like king 8-7, I would already go for it just because of this player stack or better. But this one, I'm just gonna go ahead and proceed with a call. Here, this is just really nice for us. We're gonna turn this hand into a bluff for sure, and we are just gonna go for half pot. I think it's fine. I can also go a third pot here, I think. Half pot. Full pot, whatever. Both are fine. They both call, and we get a third spade. It's interesting what he's overcalling here. Could have some flushes, could have some stuff. I think this hand is just a little bit too premium that I just need to go for it here. Too good of a bluff, I think. And I think people should be starting to fold some flushes and do get called by the queen eye flush. I definitely expected one of these players to have a flush in that line very often, but still think it's a reasonable bluff. Need to have some bluffs in that spot. Maybe if he had like a third nut flush or lower, he would have folded, but second nut flush feels like it's too strong to fold, which is fine. I don't need to get that hand to fold in specific for my bluff to be profitable. I think on the river. Gonna fold this one. Just completing this one. Kind of an interesting flop here. I have a lot of blockers. I think it's just fine to just start leading right away. Just gonna go for a 3/4 sizing. I have the jack blocker, I have a queen, I have 2 9s. Once again, stacking a lot of blockers, and I have a club in my hand. I can also check call this hand, but I don't expect to get raised a ton on the flop here by these players. So I think there's EV in that. And on this turn card, I'm just checking. We have a little bit of showdown value now against like some 10x type stuff, but most of the time we're not going to fare too well here on this turn, so we're just check folding and then hoping for it to check through and win sometimes with our sliver of showdown value. And we don't, we lose to 10-10. Interesting to see that he didn't raise the flop with that hand. He had middle set, which is fine. I think he can go both ways there. He doesn't need to raise that hand, especially without a club. There's going to be a lot of bad runouts, but he is in position against me, which is more of an argument for wanting to raise his hand. The position just makes such a huge difference in that spot because he can dictate what happens on future streets. But also he was blocking one of his outs with the pair blocker. A lot of my bets there are gonna be like combo draws and stuff like that. It's not gonna be a lot of weak draws. So he's not really pushing that much equity. I actually think I prefer his line now that I think about it. Here with the ace-3 deuce-deuce, I'm going to call this spot. Here, just unfortunately gonna let go the ace-queen-4 deuce. Facing this small c-bet here, quite interesting. I think I'm just gonna proceed with a call. I have a flush draw, I have an ace. Kind of weird sizing, we saw this yesterday too from a guy. And on this turn card, after facing a check, I am going to just realize my equity here through a check. I expect to lose a lot here, especially on this run out. Interesting if he does decide to bet. Now he's saying I have a full house, I have ace jack. Interesting. I can definitely just have a lot of better hands here in this spot. I can have a jack myself. I can have a better ace. The 3 and the 2 deuces don't really provide us with any relevant blockers to this hand. The only thing that, like, this is just an easy, like a trivial fold, I think. The only thing that is a little confusing about this spot is his flop c-bet sizing was really small, so it could be a wider range, but I'm just going to still go ahead and let that one go. Here I can c-bet or I can check. I think with the 7 and the deuce side cards, I'm actually just going to elect to check this one. I think this is a little too wide. Here on the turn, facing another check, I'm just going to go for half pot delay sizing. I can do this. I can go a third pot. I don't think it's super important. Face a turn delay raise, which is very interesting. He can have a lot of draws here still, a lot of queen jack 8 type hands that he's going for delay raise. I mean, I'm pretty much at the top of my range here, so it's a very easy continue. And I can still improve, so gonna call. And this is a really tragically bad river card. Now I'm thinking, like, do I ever turn this hand into a bluff? Because he's gonna have a lot of jack 8, king jack here in this line. And I need to have some bluffs. I just don't think people are gonna fold a straight that much in this line. Gonna take my showdown value and chop with ace 10. Okay, interesting. Reasonable one for sure. This. Gonna sit at this 2-5 table. Here, I think this is close versus the larger sizing. This hand, I think I can just check call. After posting under the gun. Here I think this is kind of close. I'm not actually sure what the correct play is. I'm going to call, but yeah, go from there. Here, facing a short stacker. Just gonna proceed with the check call with this type of equity. Ace King 5-3. That's gonna be a pretty good board for his range. The low paired board. Just easy check. Here, no 5, no 3. I don't think I can start playing leads with this type of a hand. Face a half pot size bet, which is very interesting. I don't know what that type of a range looks like, but I'm getting a pretty good price. A lot of my 2-pair outs can be live. This is interesting. I'm gonna fold the river here. So I'm gonna take my price when he goes this sizing and just continue through a call. If he went like a bigger sizing, I would have. Yeah, so he just has a dry ace queen type hand that he shouldn't be betting, which I had really good equity against. Actually, maybe I missed an opportunity there. If he goes that sizing, he's just capping himself super hard, I think, a lot of the time. I think I should have just check raised and attacked that sizing. Instead of just taking my price. I think they're gonna fold a lot to that line and just they're gonna have like an ace queen or like dry kings, dry aces hand that are just gonna be like they're just gonna have to be forced to fold, I think. Here, I think this is close between call or 3-bet. I'm going to lean on the aggressive side here. Don't really have a big sample size versus this player. Playing this 2-5 table. Can leave this waiting list for this small game. Easy call, flop is easy check. Here we have middle pair, some backdoor flush draws, not a ton of connection. I don't want to bet fold this hand, so I'm just going to go ahead and realize my equity through a call. And then I do get to start bluffing this turn pretty aggressively. And I think this is a great hand to start bluffing with. And I'm going to go for the half pot size bet and then follow through on rivers. So he checks here, I have the nuts. I'm going to bet predominantly. That's going to be the strategy. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed with that. And then here on this turn card, I think I can just play pot or check here. And this hand I'm going to pot. I also unblock clubs. I can get called by some club draws, that kind of stuff. Face a 3-bet here with the ace, queen, 7, 8. This is a hand that I could start considering for a 4-bet. Here, very interestingly, he plays check call and then donk leads on the river. Very interesting. I block the queen here. He has still a wide range that gets to the river, I think. Here I face pot size bet with the backdoor club draw. I think this is just good enough to call. I think I'm gonna bluff catch here with the queen blocker as well. Yeah, and I beat queen 10, 7, 6. That's very nice. Here we have very interesting spot. We have the pair of 8s and the flush draw. This is a pretty close spot, I think. With the really close spot here. I'm going to go ahead and call. I think it's very close. But I also have a lot of 2-pair outs here a lot of the time. He checks the river. I don't think he's really folding a lot, so I'm just gonna go ahead and check. But yeah, I have a lot of 2-pair outs there that are good, and after I turn the pair, I think it's a pretty close spot. Here we can lead this hand, or we can check. I think yeah, I think it's close. Here on the turn, I think just checking again. I still have some showdown value with the 8s. I don't necessarily want to bluff this middle strength hand where I can always just easily check call. I don't block any of the 2 pairs that can raise me on the turn, so just go ahead and play my hand as a call, and then planning on calling rivers too, because it's pretty rare that we improve to a straight, so we're very high up in our range in that spot. Here we open EP, big blind defends. We're gonna play a high frequency bet strategy. This hand is clearly like wants to start putting money into the middle as a value bet, and yeah, we're just gonna stack off here with the ace, ace, queen, 9 with this much equity in our hand. Backdoor flush draw too. This spot facing the pot size bet where I need like about 33% to call there. I might just not slightly be getting the right price against the whole range. Maybe I have about like So if I assume my flush draw is good, which isn't always the case, if I assume my flush draw is good, that's about 20%. And then my two pair outs, I'm usually a reasonable number of them are going to be good. Here, what are we doing here? Dry kings just completing. Flopping a straight with the king a blocker. I'm just going to go and lead for half pot. This is a board that I'm definitely going to want to start playing leads. With the nuts, with a king of hearts, I think this is a nice hand to start leading with. Here, over an ISO, we are going to play high frequency third pot bet. We can definitely start betting with the upset, and we can also call a raise. Seems like a pretty nice combo. Here on the turn, I think just playing a large bet strategy here makes a lot of sense. He's going to have a lot of flush draws. He's going to have some ace-5 and stuff that is going to always continue. I think this makes the most sense. And on this river card is quite interesting. What to do here? I for sure gonna check, but just facing a bet here. Okay, he checks, and so he likely had a set or like an ace-5 type hand, but it was interesting for me, like my decision if he did face a bet when I do have the king of hearts. I think it is a hand where I need to start bluff catching some of the time. It's going to be player dependent. I do think population's going to be under bluffing that spot a reasonable amount. Here we flop middle pair. Just a lot of equity here in this hand. I think I can also just go for check raise. I think I can bet. He's a shorter stack player. I don't mind just betting and getting this one in. Here queen check 10-7. I think this is fine to open. This guy has 7 big blinds, less than pot behind. I guess we just pot it and hope he doesn't have a flush. Have a little bit of fold equity, so given how short he is in that hand, I guess we just go for it. Alright, now we have 6 tables. Queen jack jack 10 single facing this open, gonna be a pretty standard call. Face a squeeze from the button. Going to be continuing unless this guy decides to 4-bet these good aces here. Gonna 3-bet those and going to call that. Pot here. Really bad board here, just nothing we can do. Check fold. He should play some really small bets here. He doesn't need to play a big betting strategy. Here in this board texture, we have very high check. Just this connects with his open and call 3-bet range very wide. I just have an easy check call here with the nut flush draw. A lot of aces would have to check fold here, so I'm just protecting my range by checking this hand as well. Yeah, so he does play a small bet, makes a lot of sense. Here he goes big. Interesting. I think I just have to continue here for at least one bet. I think it's just too much. And going to, okay, here we have here we have no spade in our hand. I think we just either delay this hand or something else. Here we just lead for pot on the river. Here we call the 4-bet. Here I think pot makes a lot of sense. Here we flop. Yeah, we just don't have enough equity here. To continue with the gut shot and the 2 backdoor flush draws. This is a close decision for me between 3-betting or or just calling the open. I'm not sure about this. This could have been a mistake getting in this situation, but I definitely know if I do 3-bet that hand, always calling a 4-bet seems pretty reasonable. Do get the call here. Very nice. Very nice to win that big pot. Facing a squeeze with the ace jack 5-4. I think I'm just gonna let this go. Out of position to one player too. He's gonna still have some slow plays that are gonna back raise some bad aces and type stuff. I just don't think this is a good enough spot to continue here. Here we're just gonna lead with our gut shot queen high and 4 clubs in our hand, so we're gonna want to be more aggressive here. Here queen 10 10 8. I think just going ahead and folding this is fine. King 9 8 8 here, pretty standard. Here we're gonna check call the turn, turning some showdown value, still having the open ender, still retaining some equity. Bluff catching against some floats here. If he turns a 7 into a bluff catching against that. And on the river here, after it goes check check, I think he's not really gonna have too much that can call a bet. So he's just not gonna have much in general. I don't know if he's gonna turn some weaker one pair type holdings into a bluff. He might, depends on the player. Can definitely, obviously my hand is worth a value bet. I just think it's pretty hard to get called, so the EV is close, since the decision is close because it's like I don't think he's bluffing a lot when I check to him, and I also don't think he's calling a bet almost ever in that scenario, in that run out in that spot. So yeah, hard to decide what is better there. Here I think I have enough equity on the button in position, double suited hand here. Not great connectivity, not great playability, but in position I think it's a nice flat. Flop quite well here with 2 pair and a king high flush draw. Face a interesting smaller sizing. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and raise here. I think that this hand just has too much value versus what I perceive this range to be. Oh my god, what the fuck? Oh my god. I can't believe that. That's so unfortunate. I just didn't have any time bank. Sucks a lot that I had to fold this hand. So I wanted to raise this hand. God, I really got to play quick. But he triple barreled that hand, which is quite strong, so he might have just had queen 10 or 10-10. I think the raise on the flop is not standard. It was just something that I wanted to do versus his smaller sizing. He's only supposed to play a 3/4 sizing there or check. So I perceive that to be, he's also not supposed to c-bet that board very often. I think people over c-bet that board as compared to what they're supposed to. Here gonna be 3-betting this double suited rundown. I think it performs quite well in that line. Really sucks that I had to fold that spot. That just hurt so much, but whatever, what can you do? The time bank stuff sucks so much. Here, don't flop much. Here, just gonna check with my Jackson flush draw. Here, I don't flop much. I think I'm just, with no queen, no 10, no king, no jack, I think I'm just gonna check and try to retain some equity. He's still gonna have some strong hands here. I think this is the play. And check calling here with my overpair and flush draw. Checking again. Here facing a turn delay. This is really close. I don't have a ton of strong hands that can continue here in this spot, but his range interacts with this turn card a lot. I think folding here is fine. Gonna call here. I think it's a tight fold, but I think against population, I don't think they're gonna have enough bluffs there. Here, facing a third pot bet after defending the small blind, pretty easy call. Pretty bad turn card. Here, ace 10 10 3, kind of close here without an ace high suit. I'm going to flick in a call. I expect a lot of aggression here, and I'm just gonna give up because I'm dead against the value. It's never good to be dead. Facing a double check line here. I think without a heart, I still think I'm supposed to just not bluff the spot. Here, double suited kings here. I don't do a lot of 3-betting with double suited kings versus an early position open, especially. I think I'm going to proceed with the call. Here, gonna call these double suited kings. Here, I think without a queen and 8, a 4. I think just starting off with a check is fine. But honestly, I don't mind stabbing as well. This range is pretty underprotected, I think, in practice. So, stabbing here, I have a ton of good turn cards. I don't think I'm getting check raised off the equity of my hand very often, so gonna just proceed in that line. Queen 8-5, yeah, just easy decision here. Here, facing a check call, I still have some showdown. I don't turn anything. Pretty easy decision. Here, gonna lead with my flush. Here, I'm gonna hope to beat some ace-queen type hands. Nice. I don't think that was a theory flop stab at all, but I think in practice, just don't think I'm getting punished enough at the time where I think it's just fine. A lot of the downside to stabbing that hand is facing someone who's playing an aggressive flop, like a high frequency check and then a lot of check raises, but in practice that just doesn't happen. So here, flopping the set in a 3-bet line, it's just going to be good enough to stack off with, given the SBR of the situation. And here, facing a check, I'm just gonna pot. Jack 9-9-8 rainbow here. Also another close decision. 8-5-4, 8-8-5-4, just to check here. Interesting spot facing a bet here. I'm considering my options between check raise or check call here on this turn card. Still have some showdown value. I'd rather bluff with like a 5-7 type hand, and I think this still retains some showdown value, so I'm going to take that. Here, I'm going to limp call the queen 8-8-4, single suited. Flop top set. I can go, I'm going to predominantly be aggressive here, but I can also check raise this hand. Here we river the full house in this line. Not good enough to value bet. Can bluff catch with this hand. 10-3-6 deuce. This table seems to be breaking. I don't really want to play heads up, but this player is short stacking and seems like he could be a fish. I don't play a ton of heads up. I'm just gonna, yeah. I'm gonna be on a lot of spots like this where I'm just like, I don't actually know what to do. Okay, someone else is sitting down. which is nice. A lot more comfortable playing three-handed than I am heads up. Here, Dreamy Cat. I think stabbing is fine, and I'm gonna go for a larger sizing. I have ace high. I have a 10 of blockers. I have a gut shot. I can get a lot of folds on the flop, so yeah, just gonna go for that play. His limp calling range is super wide there, so just gonna try and attack it. This hand, not enough equity to continue even versus one bet, but that would have been a nice turn card. Easy open with the king, queen, queen, 8, single. This guy's still playing 4 big blind stack, which is interesting. 8, 6, 7, 4. Gonna open this hand. Flop. So 5-5-3 rainbow is gonna be a board texture that is gonna be almost a range check. So that's just what I'm gonna do. No point in bluffing into this dry side pot. Here on the turn, I think just going ahead and leading for a large sizing is fine. I can also go for this. And then I river the straight. And I can't really get called by worse. I'm just gonna try and take my showdown. If he does bet the river, I think I'm just gonna fold here. No diamond in my hand. He needs to be turning some like pretty unconventional stuff into a bluff. He needs to be bluffing like a king or something, or like maybe some double paired hands. I don't know what else he could be bluffing with. There's not a ton of hands in his range, so I'm just gonna fold. Rainbow aces in position versus the short stack player. I think this is just a nice spot to go for the 3-bet. This guy cold calls. Now I'm really hoping for the back jam. King, king, 8, 9, rainbow. Yeah, I'm gonna fold the rainbow version of this hand. And then call with any suit. Just thinking about it. Nice. Alright. Very nice. Very nice outcome here. And we get the fold too. That's just a free 10 big blinds in the middle. I mean, he has a really strong hand. Pretty reasonable. And then he does river 2 pair on the first run out. And then unfortunately we lose both against double suited kings. All good. Oh, okay, so now we don't have enough in the balance to rebuy because we're playing so many tables right now. Okay, Jack, Jack, 5-4. We have a overpair here and a flush draw. I'm gonna start off with the check. 3-way spot in this configuration. Going to, this is an interesting spot. I think I'm just gonna go ahead with a check call and go from there. It's kind of a weird spot when it goes bet and call. Now this guy leads. Ugh. Yeah, I think this is super gross. And yeah, this guy's very wide pre-flop. I think I'm gonna call against how wide this player is, but it's not a lovely spot at all. And then he folds, and then he goes all in. Ugh. So bad. So gross. Bets big on flop. Can have a lot of hands that beat me. I think I'm just gonna fold. I think I'm gonna exit this table so I have enough funds to stay topped off on all these other tables. Face 3-bet here. I don't think this is a hand class that I just want to 4-bet, get it in. It's too dominated when we do get it in here, so I'm just going to proceed with the call. 10-10, 5-5, single here. Gonna call. Here with the ace-king, 10-4. Interesting spot here. No pair blockers. Think checking and retaining my equity is reasonable here. Here, this guy does go for the bet. I think I'm just gonna raise right away. Go for a larger raise. This hand. He does lead the turn for a small sizing. I think for this, we just have an easy continue. First that small of a sizing anyways. He checks the river and then we check and then we chop. That's fine. On the turn 10, interesting spot at this SPR. I think it's weird at this exact SPR. I think deeper we just always check. I think here we can not really sure. I think I'm just gonna go for it at this SPR. He's gonna have 8-9 a decent amount, but can't really check fold either. And he does have 8-9 and we lose both runouts. Yeah, really shitty spot. On the turn there. He's still gonna have other parts of his range that I'm gonna get value from, like over pairs with like king, queen, etc. Like over pairs and straight draws. And at that exact SPR, I just don't think I can ever really check fold there. So. Kind of just sucks to be in that spot. Here, face a limp. I think it's fine to ISO pretty wide against limps. And gonna stab with a full wrap. Same strategy. I think I'm just gonna ISO pretty wide. I don't think they limp re-raise enough. I think playing a bloated pot with reasonable hands in position is just fine. Ace 8-5-5, that's just not good enough. This hand is quite interesting. I actually think that the solver is mostly going to be wanting to flat this exact combination of a hand, especially versus the shorter stack player who's more likely to be going all in, facing a 3-bet with a wider range as well. And yeah, just gonna raise right away on the flop because we have a strong hand. We want to get value against flush draws, against two pairs, against sets, against a lot of things. A lot to get value from. No diamond in our hand. Out of position, two players. Don't think it's enough equity to start stabbing. And also just have a trash open-ender when the straight's already there on the board. Here, I have like a very minuscule amount of showdown value, so I'm gonna try and take that. Facing a bet. Gonna fold. No king or jack in my hand. Flop 2 pair. At a shorter stack depth. Don't think I'm gonna get check raised a ton. And I immediately get check raised. Alright. Gonna proceed with the call. Kind of seems like he has ace jack here. Flop check and then checks this turn. It seems like he has ace jack, maybe jacks. Kind of seems like he has me beat. And I'm actually gonna bluff the river here. Here facing open in a 3-bet. It's kind of close. No, okay, if he's gonna bet, yeah, sure. I think this is actually a cold call. I think it's very close. I don't really do a lot of cold calling to 3-bets. I think this is hand class that can make it in there. Not 100% sure on this. And on this flop texture, we just are forced to fold. Here, no diamond in our hand. Not enough equity to want to stab here with middle pair, 3 straight blockers. Kind of trying to turn a club, trying to turn an 8, something like that. Actually, we do have a double gut shot here. Any queen, any 8. It's close. This spot really here on the turn is close. I think I'm gonna go for the more passive approach. Don't think I have a profitable call on the river there, honestly. Gonna open these queens. Gonna open the queen 10 10 9 triple 2. Think it's fine. This hand, pretty close. I think I'm gonna limp fold this one. Here, queen queen 9 8. Just stabbing or checking. I think I can go either way here. Here, facing the 3-bet from the shorter stack player. I think this is fine. Checking this. Checking this. Defending this. Facing a big bet. Set. I'm calling. Checking here. Have a full house here. Let's run out. Interesting. Alright. Considering leading here, I think leading or check calling is both fine. I don't think we can really go for a check raise on the river, but he's still gonna have some missed clubs that might follow through on the river. That type of stuff. King Jack Jack 10 out of position 3 ways. It's just a check here. Rainbow Ace King 10 7, just checking. King 10 10 9 in the small blind versus a button open. I think we just call this hand. Don't really want a 3-bet fold. Actually, one of those board textures that we do start leading a lot, so I'm gonna start off with a half pot bet. 9s and 5s, we have some showdown value. Gonna check this one. I think we can just bet turn here with our blockers, with the hand that we have. And I think it's fine. I think I can also retain my equity through a check call. But I don't expect to get jammed on very often there at all, so that's why I went ahead and bet. Kind of a mergier bet, but it's PLO, so we can get away with stuff like that. fold this. I mean, I can leave this table because I'm short stacking and I can just focus on these 4 tables, but I could also just work on my short stack game too. I have to be a little bit tighter. I have to be a little bit more high card dense. Going to raise. That means ace 10-5. Also could just limp here and go for a limp re-raise. I think that's a fine option sometimes too. I just don't play limping range at all, so this guy, yeah, I'm just gonna bet big and versus this super wide range. He posted and then called. I think it's fine. I'm just gonna bet fold this hand. I don't think I'm gonna get. I have a 5 in my hand. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna get raised very often, and then I get immediately raised. Yeah, but I don't have enough equity. I know if I bet this hand, then I have to bet fold. I'd almost rather check back an aces with a flush draw, something like that, because I actually like improve on some runouts, you know. Ace 10, 10, 9 rainbow. I think the rainbow version of this hand can just fold here, facing 2 super wide players. I think I'm just gonna go for a call. Ace queen 6 5 here. Close spot. Here, Jack 10 10 5. Fuck. I wanted to open that hand, but it seems actually loose. Playing heads up here. I think this hand can just 3-bet. Facing half pot size bet. Here I can pot or check. I think this hand is honestly fine to bet. I just bet fold this hand. No backdoor flush draw. I just never really improve much on any runouts. The ace and the king and the queen aren't great. The 6 is fine. Here on the turn here, I think my range is mostly just gonna want to check here. I think on the flop I'm playing pot or check very often. And the river checks through, and I think I just have a mandatory bluff here. So I have a 6 in my hand. Yeah, I have to bluff this hand. Hopefully he folds. I don't think he has a straight here very often. So nice, get on through. Here, this ace king type hand with no improvability, I think I'm just going to fold. Here, I don't really want to play heads up, so I'm just gonna play this table. Not really a format that I've spent a lot of time working on. So hectic playing so many tables. As soon as it goes from like 4 to 6 or even just 5, I'm just like all over the place. Like, I'm like, oh, I have to bet, I have to pot. Just get it in. Mandatory bluff. The level of difference when I go from 4 to 6 in my concentration is just how much it slips is just happens so quickly, you know. But that was a nice big pot to win in that heads up scenario where I probably was just over bluffing on flop and got away with it. And then on river, when I arrive in that spot with that hand, I think it is a very easy bluff, but the way I got there, maybe pretty suspect. I know I need to bet very aggressively in a 3-bet spot on like a 9-4-3 board. I just don't know if I go that wide, you know. Here, facing a 3-bet from a big blind player with this type of a hand, I think it's an easy fold. The ace and the king are bad. I have bad connectivity. I can just get away with opening and folding that hand. Here, ace, king, jack 5, jack high suit. I think I open king high suit and better, and jack high suit I fold from that early position. How long have you been playing for? I don't actually know how to check. Oh, 56 minutes. There we go. Okay. Not easy. I was getting check raised a lot, and I was getting put in a bunch of tough spots today, so far in the session. So far, I don't think I'm doing too bad overall, though. I think we might be slightly up, despite everything. We can actually just check. Yeah, we're up a small amount on the session right now. Easy 3-bet with the ace, king, king, queen. And I think, yeah, face a 4-bet immediately. Quite interesting with this exact hand. I think I just don't see people 4-bet bluffing enough to justify calling this hand. So I think I'm just gonna fold. I think in theory it's a lot closer. In practice, I'm gonna lean towards being more happy folding that spot, facing a 4-bet. It was also very quick 4-bet, so not a lot of thought was given. Kind of felt like you're just gonna have aces there a lot. Which is unfortunate. The tough spot about playing that hand versus a 4-bet is when they do have aces, my equity is just so poor. But if they have a bluff, my equity is like reasonably fine. But the bluffs that he needs to find there, I just don't see people finding. He needs to have like all these like ace X, ace 9, 8, 7 double suited type hands. He needs to find a bunch of ones that aren't even double suited hands with an ace. So it's just a lot here. This is just such a bad board for us out of position. Gonna proceed with the check call. Here, no reason to bluff. Bet my hand on turn. Going to check, take my showdown. Once again, going to check and take my showdown. If he bets the river, that's super interesting. This line, I just don't have a ton of strong hands, and he bets river after snap checking back the flop. My range looks super weak here. Do I have a time bank? I don't? Oh, I do. Okay, thank God. I need some time to think about this spot. What is he turning into a bluff, though? The problem is this guy has low WWSF. Here, once again, a board that I need to check on a lot. Fold to c-bet, c-bet. He doesn't have very high aggression stats at all. Interesting. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, given all that information. But yeah, it sucks a lot. Here, I think I'm going to go for an overbluff situation on this turn here, and just go for it. I think they're both not really gonna have a 9x. He would bet the 9 a lot on the flop. He would lead a ton. I don't think he's protecting his range by having enough 9x here that he's double checking there. And both these ranges are super capped and weak. I checked back range on out of position there on that board texture or like close to it. So I'm super protected. I have all the aces and kings, and I think if I go that larger sizing, this guy's just gonna look down at like a bunch of weaker two pair type holdings and just have to be forced to fold. I don't think it makes a ton of sense there bluffing with the 5 in my hand. I don't think I have the best blockers to be bluffing there, but I'm going to exploitatively go for that play based on my assumptions on my opponent's ranges there. I think probably the best bluffs are going to come from like a bottom pair type hand, like maybe like an ace, king, deuce type hand. Boat over boat. Sick. Queen 10 10 9. Reasonably nice hand. I think just calling here. Decision is only between calling or folding here. Facing a limp and an ISO. I think I'm just gonna fold this hand. Bad connectivity, bad suits. Facing a worse price. Get called and called here. Interesting. Folding this. Can 3-bet, can call here. This one, we're slightly deeper here. Now we're playing about 150 big blinds deep. I think mixing in a little bit more calls in this spot actually makes a ton of sense. So aces here with the ace of clubs is actually a hand that is quite interesting. I still have a little bit of showdown value. I don't think I need to turn this hand into a bluff just yet. Gonna call with the jack jack deuce deuce. Easy fold here. Wow, there's a lot of action going on. Now we river a straight. Can we really get called by worse here? That is the question. Checking this jack jack deuce deuce. I could actually consider bluffing this hand. I actually might like that as an exploit, honestly. Here I'm just gonna check. He can still have some weak flushes that he plays in the check down line. Then he bets the river. Wow, interesting. I think this is a nice hand to find as a river bluff raise. I think it's really hard to have river bluff raises in this spot. And I don't think my ace deuce has enough showdown value that I want to call versus this range. I think in theory, the way I see that spot on the river there is, I think in theory my hand is always just check calling with my straight and the ace of clubs blocker, but in practice I just don't think my opponents have enough river delay bluffs there in that spot. I think they're more likely to have value. And it's kind of a complicated bluff spot. And I think they're just not gonna think the river, like anybody's taking such a fancy line there as a bluff. I don't think. So Yeah, but I don't think that's like technically correct in that spot to do that. I think I'm just supposed to just check call and bluff catch against some weak Broadway misses type stuff. Here, facing the early position open with just this and the bad side cards, I would call here a 7-7-6 single for sure. That hand, I think I just fold. We've seen this type of hand a lot today, and I feel so confused with this hand class a lot. Here I think I just have a fold. Like, I had a lot of spots where it was like a big blind defend, and I kind of had this type of a hand, and I wasn't really sure. Especially versus like a limp and an ISO, it's like a different scenario. That hand performs a lot worse multi-way. I'm getting a worse price. So, yeah. Just not sure. Just not sure. Let's look at the lobby. What other action is going on? Some 1K, 2K is going on. Oh, nice. I wish I was that rich. No 2-5. 2-5 heads up though, yeah. He's playing heads up. I know this player, I've played with him a lot. Here, with these bad kings with the bad side cards, I'm going to just call a fold here. Easy open with the Jack 10 9 8. Flop middle pair and the dummy end of a wrap with no club in my hand. I think this is just a flop check. I really don't want to get check raised off the equity in my hand, but I still have enough where I can check call, especially with my backdoor flush draw. Depending on the sizing, if he goes pot, it's quite gross. But when he does go the half pot sizing, I think for sure I have a continue. It's worse if someone calls in between, because more of my outs are bad, like here. But I still think I have a call. And I turn the straight. This guy leads the turn. Just gonna go ahead and pot it and expect to be chopping a lot when we get it all in, or get folds. That's nice too. Here, king high board, out of position. Gonna be a very high frequency check and a single raise pot. Here on the turn, I think it's pretty reasonable to start betting for value. Get some value from some straight draws, some flush draws, that type of stuff. I think my sizing is a little bit questionable. I don't really need a pot with most of my range. I think I just go 3/4 on turn there. I don't think it's a huge difference, but maybe my brain just didn't want to bet 3/4 and invite him with a slightly wider range and have to see a plethora of bad river cards for my exact holding and then have to face a decision. So maybe I need to work on that. Maybe I have to just not be scared of the runouts, just embrace the runouts as they come. Facing a limp here, I think it's fine to overlimp this hand. I still have some nutted potential here. On this flop, I actually think my hand can't really check call, so I'm just going to lead. I have the deuce blocker, I have the pair of sixes blocker. I can apply a ton of, I have a backdoor flush draw. I have a lot of random holdings here on this turn card. I'm actually just going to check. His range is wide enough. I can induce bluffs from worse. This is a pretty good card for him. And then on the river, I just don't think he has a better hand very often. I'm just going to go for half pot and try to get called by some weaker two pairs and stuff. He gets ace-7. Interesting that he snap checks that on the turn. Okay. Fair enough. I think the half pot sizing on the river is fine. So think against like a limp, like an early position limp, his range is going to be really wide. This guy's playing almost 50% of hands. There's going to be enough random two pair type holdings, like especially like the ones with the queen, that I can target for value. Like I was like hoping to get called by like a queen 7, queen 4, queen deuce type of hand. Gonna call the Jack 9-4 single versus a bun open. Flop bear over pair. With this much equity, I think I'm just gonna check fold versus even a half pot size betting. He should only be playing 3/4 or check. But yeah, I don't have enough improvability. Even when I do have the best hand here, it's just the runouts are just so poor for that hand. I'm not gonna realize my equity very often there and win the hand. King, queen, 9-8 single. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and fold this one. I think I'm not supposed to open this hand, and I think I start opening like the king, queen, 10-8 type hands, like single suited, that hand, but king, queen, 9-8, slightly worse connectivity, less straight potential. It's close though. I noticed yesterday I was like too loose with my opening, so in a spot that my brain right now thinks is close, I decided to be a little bit more passive because I think that I might just be too loose. This guy opens. He's playing a 52 VPIP. Do I have this guy on another table anywhere? King? No, I don't. I think this is interesting. This guy 3-bets. Oh man, I was really thinking about 3-betting against a 52 VPIPper. and also versus the smaller sizing. But now that facing a 3-bet, I think I have to reluctantly fold that hand. Just not a good spot to be in. Ace 10 7 3. I don't think this is connected enough to open from early position. Oh man, that sucks. Because I would have done this. Oh, and he's potting it too. Oh, it's so gross. He's I guess he just has aces there, and maybe a hand like ace ace king, ace ace 8, and this guy leads the turn and gets it in. Interesting. Okay, what do we have? Ace king 5-4, and yeah, a very wide hand. So would have made a full house. Yeah, his 3-bet's very reasonable too. Here, facing an open from what is this? Cutoff. Gonna just fold. I think that's pretty close. I don't know. I just don't know if that's a call or that's a fold. Just don't know. Oh well. I know this one. I know this spot. This is an open. Give me easier spots. This guy 3-bets. Pretty easy call. Not a hand class I would consider for betting. And that's a nice flop. If he bets, I'm just going to raise and get it in here. I can pot. I can go for half pot. I don't think it matters that much. I think half pot might just look stronger, honestly. So I don't know if that matters with that hand. I just have pretty robust equity there. I don't know if I really even care that much. If I mean, getting him to bet fold like some aces is actually nice. It's a big win when there's so much in the middle and I'm flipping against that hand, but still. Yeah, I don't know if it's the most important thing in the world. But yeah, raising the flop feels nice anyways. Just want to equity deny in that spot. Maybe to get him to fold some other ace-king type hands that he has himself that maybe he's stabbing. I don't think people check that spot as much as they're supposed to. I think people just would rather stab and fold to a re-raise than they would like check, call, and make decisions, right? Because I just feel like it's so uncomfortable to check those boards and like play check calls with like some weaker aces and some king X type holdings, like, and I think you're supposed to do that, and I think people just fucking hate doing that. So they'd rather just bet themselves and like they'd rather bet their weaker portion of their overpair type hands and just bet fold it rather than play check calls. And so if that's the case, the value of re-raising the flop goes up quite a bit, right? Because they're just going to have naturally like a lot more weaker parts of their range that are just going to fold. So you get to attack that quite a lot. But there's also EV in like keeping people, if he is going to be bluffing for multiple streets out of position there, with like a very low equity type hand, there's a EV in letting him bluff through. So I need to keep that in mind, that I need to retain some calls, some traps there. But I'd rather have like a more nutted hand, like maybe like a set and a flush draw would be a hand that I would never consider raising on flop, right? It's just too much equity, too robust. I want to keep him in there with the weaker parts of his range. But like when I just have top pair there, like pretty bad side cards as well, like the ace king, whatever it was, 8 deuce, 9 deuce, 9 3, whatever, double suited type hand with the nut flush redraw. I think that specific type of a hand, I think I like to raise. I think it's just very nice to do so. Also, if I just play check call and a straight card comes and he just like pots it or something, kind of feels like a disaster getting denied off that much equity when I could have just got it in on the flop. Got some fold equity. Stacked off pretty much against everything pretty cleanly. Like, I guess he can still have some king king and some sets there rarely, but even against that, I still have like whatever 30-ish%. And that's like worst case scenario. He can never have like a hand that like completely dominates us because we have the nut flush. Or the nut flush draw, I should say. Okay, what is going on here? 3-bet pot, he pots the flop on a7-6, gets a call. River is ace king jack 10, 9-8-7-4. Oh, so wide. What is going on today? Queen 10-8-4, this is enough equity. Don't think this hand is good enough to squeeze, but it is close. Not super sure. Think leading this hand, second nut flush is fine. A lot. And I think a third pot is my ideal sizing in this spot. Here, ace 5-5 deuce. Gonna lead for half pot with this hand. I'm gonna pot the river for value, try to get called by some worse flushes. Six. I think I'm going to go for check raise here with this type of hand. I have the diamond, I have the 10 blocker, I have very low. I can't really check call this hand. Oh, now I don't. I get denied off my play. Shit. Here, I'm just trying to stab and generate some fold equity from some interesting stuff. Here on turn ace of spades, this is one of the worst hands, worst cards in the deck, I should say. Here, I think we have to. Interesting. I think check call is fine versus this price, and then bluff on some straightening cards. Not this straightening card. Check, fold here, check. So like I can bluff on an 8, I can bluff on a 4, I can bluff on a 3. He's not going for like the full pot size bet, so. Versus a full pot bet, I would have definitely folded. I think versus like the 2/3 sizing that he went with the nut flush draw. I think it's pretty close. I still have some implied odds. Some percentage of the time. Gonna fold versus an open here and open myself if he folds. And gonna fold this one versus a 3-bet with the rainbow version of this hand. And every time I feel like I say that, I feel like I get 3-bet today. Anyways. Alright, well, stick to the plan. Alright, that's how it's gonna be, huh? 3-3 deuce deuce. Single suited. Don't actually know if I'm supposed to be calling this hand or folding this hand. But yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know. I know deuces and threes aren't the best hand in the world, but because they're connected together, they're not bad together. But there's some reverse implied odds in those situations, especially if there's like loose players behind calling a lot, which tends to happen at these stakes pretty often. Here, easy call versus the 3-bet. I wonder if this is a raise candidate in this spot. 7, 14, 21. So, okay, his 3-bet is fucking 2%. Okay, not gonna go for it against him. He's not gonna have enough auto folds there, and that's mostly what I'm targeting there. On flop, and then I can barrel on some certain runouts. I think I need to start having some bluffs there with some like backdoors type equity, but yeah, against the 2% 3-bet over 170 hands, he's just gonna have ace a lot and then ace king a lot. I don't know how much we actually really get to raise there. Like the king paired board isn't actually that bad for him. I just want to find ways to put people in difficult spots. I just want him to have aces there and just now he 3-bets 2 hands in a row. I just want to find ways to put people into difficult spots, you know? I want to find a way for someone to have aces there and fold the turn. There's just so much pleasure in getting someone to fold a strong part of their range, you know, and just feeling like, what can I do, you know? So much satisfaction. Queen, jack 8, folding the rainbow version of this hand, opening the single suited version. I've been 3-betting this guy a lot. Fuck it though. I have a good hand, so I'm gonna 3-bet again. Alright. Here we have aces, and we have no queen, no 6, no 4, no gut shot, only a 9 high, backdoor flush draw. I think these are one of the weaker aces that I have here, and I just want to check. And it sucks, because it sucks having to check that spot. Now he leads the turn. Yeah, I really want to fight for this pot, but I just don't see how I can really do anything here. He's going to have some 2 pairs. He's going to have a few straights sometimes, whatever. I just don't know how we effectively fight for that pot after checking back the flop. I think this is just one of the weaker aces that I have in my range, and I can't just willy-nilly stack off there and pot it with careless abandon, I think. When I do pot it, like either of them can have double paired hands there and have queen, 6s, 4s and just have me dead. So I really want to have like at least a pair blocker there. Even though I'm going to stack off with aces a lot there, I just need to be mindful about which combos I'm selecting, and I'm trying to pick the better parts of my range to get it in there, and that blocks most of their value. Here, pretty nice flop. Going to bet 3/4 with my top pair gut shot and flush draw. still winning, right? Or are we? I don't know. Session hasn't been that long. Oh. Up a dollar. I wasn't sure if we were going up or not. I couldn't really tell. Here, King 977. It's fine to flick this in. There's not good enough side cards to the ace and the queen. Ace and the queen, nut suit, good. 5 deuce, bad. Here, fold. He leads. This is weird to lead into 3 opponents when he doesn't retain any of the aces off his short stack, but whatever. He just can't really bluff there. He's just saying I have a queen, I guess. Okay, sure. You don't really need a lot of protection with the queen. I don't really like playing a leading strategy ever in that scenario. Oh, this is a pretty hand. Damn. I get so excited to 3-bet this type of a hand. Just feels so nice. Will 4-bet this hand though. Almost just want it to happen, even though it's obviously not the better outcome. This guy 4-bets 4%, not super high. Why is he tanking so long? Maybe it's a decision on another table or something. He just sat this table? Is that what happened? Strange. No, he left that table. So he's like moving a table. Maybe he's finishing a session or something for the day. He's sitting out on this table. Yeah, it seems like he's taking a break or finishing his session. I really would like if he just acted though. That'd be great. Ace queen 4-3, not suit. I think this is enough equity to call. I think this is a turn card that I'm gonna have to check a lot versus the early position player. Here we have a gut shot to the 10. We have a nut flush draw facing a 2/3, 3/4 slash sizing. I think we call. And I think we check fold the river. Consider check raising there with the queen blocker and the nut flush draw. I just think against his range, he's still gonna have a reasonable amount of queen 10 there. And he's gonna have a lot of hands like king king that are just not folding, so he has some sets, he has some stronger 2 pairs. I just think attacking that range on the turn there without like a more premium blocker type holding, like maybe like a queen queen type hand there, is just not going to be ideal. I think I just want a better hand, and I think I'm still getting a reasonable price there. Check calling. Here the ace ace king 5 versus a very wide player. The problem with leading this hand is when I get called, all of the turn cards are bad. Facing a bet here from a very wide player. I think just playing check call here, backdoor flush draw is fine. Pretty bad turn card. Going to check fold on this turn card. And he just pots it again. Okay. Yeah, sucks. Wish I could get some slightly better runouts. A club, a low card, anything. It's 965. I think this is fine. King high, two-tone board, out of position, multi-way pot. 93% check frequency or something. It's very high. King 10 8 8. Versus tighter players open. I think this is just fold. Here facing a turn lead. I have a double gut shot. No pair blocker. Jack 9 to, I think this is close as fuck. Here, checking this dynamic board. Alright. Now I have to bluff. Now he bets river. What the fuck? He's betting on this river card? Really? This is interesting. Why is he betting here? I have the 9 blocker, I have the ace blocker. And I just think he would have been checking. I was planning on bluffing versus check here, but in this spot I think he somehow has it. Weird for him to bluff there, given what my range composition looks like. I think he should just check his range. Nice spot to find the cold 4-bet. Hopefully he doesn't 5-bet, because then it's aces versus aces. Okay, nice. Alright, hopefully we win. Oh man, that sucks. Hopefully we can win this. Oh, no, we can't. We cannot. I think we don't have enough showdown value where we can check call. So I'd rather just bet this hand on turn. Gonna fold this one versus early position open. If I had better side cards here, I'd continue, but I would have opened this if it folded to me. The 10-10-5 deuce. Pretty slow with the action right now. Just responding to some messages on my phone right now. Not really a ton going on. Guess we're getting it in. Hand that I'm doing fine against. Feels nice to win one. Early position open, we have aces versus shorter stack player. Nice spot. Nice spot. Gonna stack off here super often. This is gonna be a hand we're gonna be stacking off with. And yeah, that's about it. Some tighter players in the blind here. Oh, I thought it's reasonably often that we get it all in there, but not that time, I guess. Got a 3-bet from a 40 big blind player that I did not even see that he was this short, but I think this hand will still just call in position. Wow. This is such an awkward amount of equity. He leads for pot on the flop. Okay, sure. I'll just pot this. He gut shot, 2 backdoor flush draws. I guess. Oh, I have the best hand. Nice. I don't anymore. Fuck. Here I can just start off with a small c-bet. Very often. This hand class. Whatever. Interesting. three bets, the ace nine, jack four. Huh. Too good.